Guys, welcome back to part 2 of our Alpha Model 124 Ferrari 812 Competizione. Today we're going to be 2K'ing our Ferrari using the ProScale Paint 2K system. So our booth is all set up. I'll run through all that in a minute, but first of all we're going to mix our 2K. So we've got our clear coat and we're going to do a 2-to-1 mix of clear to activator. So that's 2 parts clear to 1 part activator. So if you say, for example, we're just putting there 10 milliliters of clear, 2-to-1 would be 10 milliliters of clear, 5 milliliters of activator. So 10 milliliters clear, 5 milliliters of activator going in. So there's 2.5 mil of activator and another 2.5 milliliters here. So we're going to use fresh pipettes for each one of these solutions. Do not mix the pipettes up and do not contaminate the other bottles of each one. Throw it away when done. So with the activator and the clear mixed in the 2-to-1 components, we can then stir it all together to get the chemical catalyst all mixed up together. Throw away the pipette, we're never going to use it again. And with a fresh pipette, we're going to thin that solution 5%. So with 15 milliliters of combined clear and activator, we're going to thin this 0.75 milliliters to begin with. So again, fresh pipette, put the thinner in, mix it all together nicely. Then we're going to throw the pipette away again, never to be used. There we go. So I would always recommend straining 2K just because of the nature of the activator. The activator is isocyanate based, so it does dry around its rim. So you may, at some occasion, get a crusty piece of dried activator in the bottle or tip into the cup when you're mixing it. So I'd always recommend straining it. We sell the strainers over on ProScale as well, so you can get those there. Now our body's ready to go. We've got our anti-static brush. And we've gone round and cleaned all the body up. Now, we're going to put down a semi-wet coat to begin with. So we're going to go around a whole car systematically. We're using our iWater Revolution CR5. This is a 0.5 mil airbrush. We're about 18 psi as usual. Like I say, we're just going to go round and put a nice uniform semi-gloss coat of clear all over. Now, this first gloss coat will tack up over the time we leave, which will be about 5 minutes. When we come to do our next coat, we'll have a nice sticky tack coat to adhere to, which will reduce the risk of any runs, because I always say nobody wants the runs. So just work your way around the body, get a nice semi-gloss coat down until you're happy. Now, I have, number one, full-length gloves on each arm to keep my skin covered. You can buy these from any online store, eBay, Amazon. It looks like you're going to give birth to a cow, but they're not. They're just full-length, basically plastic gloves. I've then got nitrile gloves on each hand. I'm double gloved on the left hand, which I'll explain why in a little bit later on. I've got my AS300 bench vent extractor on, which is a very powerful extractor. I've got a window cracked open just a touch, and I've got my 3M 6900 full face respirator on as well. Now, I'm in the room on my own. I will be leaving the room when this is all done, so we're not sat there with it off gassing, and this is the safest way to use 2K. With all these precautions, you'll have no problems whatsoever. So making sure you've got good extraction, keep your skin covered. A good respirator is vital as well. And doing that, we can 2K safely. Now, with the first coat done, we'll let that flash off for 5 minutes. We've got our plastic tub to our left, which we put the model in while it flashes off. And again, we're going to put down a very similar coat down again. Just a semi-wet coat again, not a full wet coat. We're not trying to get full coverage just yet. We're just laying down the base of our foundation for our 2K. So systematically going all around the model, keeping a wet edge on each coat, which means every coat, just put like a third of your next coat in there as well, just to keep the wet edge flowing through the model. And just work our way around again. Now, remember all the nooks and crannies, recesses, sills, in and around windows, vents, everywhere. And just make sure you get a nice even coat all over. Now, one thing I would recommend, and we had this with one of my patrons a while back, is if you're going to prepare the room for 2K, i.e. start dusting or hoovering or moving things around, I would do it the day before. So I have a standard procedure doing 2K. If anything needs vacuuming, it's done the day before. I set my booth up the night before, so literally everything I need to 2K is in the booth with me when I sit down and I'm ready to go. All the gloves are out, the 2K is ready to go, it's up and out there, all the medicine cups are out, pipettes, Strainers are all out as well. Everything ready to go so I can mix it with the least disturbance, because we don't want to be disturbing dust and have it floating around there, because it will land in your model. So I can literally walk in the next day and 2K with very little disturbance to the room. And this works out very well for me. Don't hoover just before you do this and then do it, because you'll end up with so much dust in your surface of your 2K, it will ruin your model. Now, with the 2 coats down, they're going to flash off in that box again, and we're going to thin the mixture a further 10%. So whatever's left, we've got, say, now 10 millilitres of clear left. We can add another milliliter of clear, which will be 10% thinner, sorry. And this will thin the 2K quite a lot more, so it will spray a lot easier, it will cover faster, and it will self-level better. So this is where now on our 3rd coat, we've already laid our foundation of our 2 previous coats. We can come in, and this will help level out to a nice, beautiful 2K. Now, I've tried all different ways of doing this. People are going to give you all different reasons and ratios. I'm the creator of ProScale. It's my company. Technically, it's Hannah's company, but it was my brainchild. I'm the one who's come up with all the formulas and mixtures and everything. I've tried and tested everything. I use these daily. You've seen the results I get, so trust me, this is the way to do it. First 2 coats thin 5%, and the last 1 or 2 coats as required, thinned a further 10. It will give much more reliable results. Just having that base coat down of the thicker coat and then thinning it and applying a later coat, it just works like absolute magic. So work your way around the whole model, just ensuring it's all covered. I'm using the light there to check we've got everything covered as well. And of course, spray all of the bits at the same time of each coat as well. So while these are spraying, that 2K will self-level on that body. By the time these are done and we go and get the body out, it will self-level. And what we want this to look like is glass. It should look like glass when it's done. No ripples, no orange peel, nothing. If you can see orange peel, put more 2K down. Do not be afraid to push it, please. I see so many people that 2K and have not quite pushed it far enough to get that perfect finish. How this looks when you're finished is how it's going to dry. So you want it to look absolutely like glass. It should look perfectly optically clear, exactly like mine does there. And if at this stage you're looking at it and think it needs a bit more, don't be hesitant in putting a bit more down. It's very forgiving, our 2K. And you'd be surprised just how far you can push it. Also meant to say as well, I've wetted my kitchen paper that's down on the surface there as well, and that will help any dust that lands not to get airborne again later on. Once you're happy with what you got, pop it back in that that plastic case for a good 4 or 5 hours, and after that it'll be fully cured. You can get out and have a look, and there we go. This is a picture inside. It's not the best picture. But you can see we've got a flawless clear coat. Got a little bit of dust that's landed on top. It's not actually in the model. It's just landed on top in the area. But what a beautiful colour. Such a rich, deep pearl yellow. This is going to look absolutely fantastic. As you can see, just out the airbrush, the 2K looks absolutely fantastic. You can see the beautiful scaled pearl flakes in the paint as well. Yeah, going to look absolutely wonderful. Yeah, 3 to 4 hours you should be able to handle the model. But this will take a good 5 days to fully cure, so don't be playing around with it too much. Right, on to the less interesting things now for me, which is parts cleanup and getting all the PE ready for paint. So we've got our Zoran shears, cutting all the PE parts off. So these are all cut off with the shears, and we remove all the rest of the excess fret on each part. And we use our Tamiya diamond file to sand the surface to get a nice clean edge on everything. We've got all our resin parts all cut off and mounted as well for all the interior and what have you. And any PE parts that can be mounted in place now will be done so. So we've got some Bob Smith's CA glue, one of our precision applicators, and one of the larger ones this time, to precisely apply some CA glue where required. We've pre-bent a bit of photo etch here. I use my small shop tools bending tool to bend the edge. And there we go, we can line that up, glue it in place, hold it till it's set. And as you see in the background, all our other photo etch parts are all mounted, ready for paint. Wheels, we are going straight with Mr. Surfacer 1500, this is, black. We've got some Tamiya white primer on the calipers, because these are going to go yellow. So I use a whole variety of different primers for different reasons. I use ProScale on the body, because the microfiller properties work excellent. Microfiber properties on small parts like this is a bit of a problem because you can't get in there to sand it. So you want more of a self-leveling primer. So if it's black, I use Mr. Hobby Leveling, Mr. Surfacer, sorry, 1500. And any other colour, I tend to use Tamiya. For photo etch, I use our Photo Etch primer, which is an etch primer. This is specifically formulated for use through the airbrush on photo etch parts. It doesn't infill all the grills or leave any nasty clumps of paint. It paints absolutely perfect, and because it chemically etches itself to the metal, it gives a much more resilient, more reliable primer coat, and you'll find it chips a lot less than standard primer. So a couple of coats of this coming in from all the different angles, and we get a nice grey etch primer coat on these. So as you can see, I've mounted these on reverse mounted Tamiya tape on some tongue depressors, and for me this is the easiest way to prime these parts. Everything else is mounted with a combination of crocodile clips or strategically placed drilled holes and cocktail sticks to hold them in place. And all these parts have been primed with Surfacer 1500 black. Then we've got some carbon ceramic grey brakes from ProScale as well, which we're going to do our brake discs in. So this will simulate the carbon ceramic look of modern day carbon ceramic brakes. Now we do a black and a grey. The black's a bit darker. I tend to use the grey most at the time now. I'm just going to very carefully put a couple of coats on each of these discs. Now, I think there was 2 discs per side on each of these brakes, but if you put 2 on the disc, the caliper doesn't go over. Common trait with alpha models, so test fit that before you fit. I quite often find that just 1 suffices, it'll do. For the wheels, I've opted for light gunmetal. I have a photo for reference that I found a while back, and I am copying that exact car. So I had nice light gunmetal wheels. Now our light gunmetal is a beautiful colour. All of our metallics, because I'm a modeler as well, I've made sure that they're all scale pigment sizes in all our paints, and our metallics are absolutely stunning. They look absolutely spanking. So some light grey on that. We've got some LP5 semi-gloss black on all the other photo etch parts, which are mostly exterior grills, a few interior bits. We've got our window wipers there as well. We've got some floor mats in there, and we've got some exterior window trim, which we've done in gloss black. Floor mats will be done in our texture black, as will some of the other parts in a bit, as you'll see. And the window wipers, the spawn of the devil, photo etch window wipers, are painted in LP5, you know, just flung one into the spray booth. Yes, photo etch window wipers are the work of the devil. So for the window surrounds, they're going to be gloss black. They've already been primed grey. So we've got some GX2 from Mr. Hobby, which is a gloss black lacquer paint. I'm going to put down a couple of normal coats of paint, followed by a couple of heavier coats to give it that gloss look later on. And the seats and the rest of the leather, we're going to do in ProScale paint Napa black leather. We have a whole line of leather colours over on the website. Go on over. There's something there you can't see, and you've got a reference, send me a picture, and I'll try my best to match it. But the Napa black is one of my all-time favourite colours. It always has been. It's just the perfect interior leather colour. It looks absolutely fantastic. So anything and everything that's going to be black has been painted in Napa black on the interior. For the exterior, it's mostly LP5. Now with the wheels painted, we've got some of our decals to go in there, because these are going to be clear coated as well. So standard decal procedure: water, place it on, get rid of the excess moisture, hit it with decal solutions, and away we go. We'll also give these a Tamiya panel line wash as well later on down the road. Calipers, they've been painted in ProScale caliper yellow, and we've got some Ferrari logos to go on here as well. So again, moisture out, decal solutions, get them set in place. Nice and easy, really nice calipers. The brakes on the Alpha model kits are absolutely stunning. And then a quick test fit of a tyre. Now be very careful with the tyres, these the wheels and tyres. These resin wheels are very brittle, and they do break a lot easier than you think. I've broke them before, so just take your time. Bob Smith's Gold with one of Bob Smith's precision applicators. These are new to the website. These are much more precise than the standard tips we sell and use. They are absolutely invaluable, and they work absolutely phenomenal for this. So we've got a few blobs of glue on the disc. We painted the center silver as well, and with the carbon ceramic photo etch on there, these look absolutely fantastic. There is also an outer ring to go on of a different colour, which is this. So that's LP5, and then we've got these tabs that fold over from the back, which leaves the original photo etch silver colour and gives a beautiful effect on the photo etch as well. So we just go round and turn all these round, and it gives us a nice hub for the center of the brake disc. Like so, and then a few very strategic places of Bob Smith. So these precision tips are the ultimate precision tips. Now, admittedly, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. They work out to be about 40 pence a piece, but what price can you put on precise modelling? I think if you want this to, look the business, then you need to use the appropriate tools. So I've got no qualm in using products like this. And I think, to have precision like good, it's good. We also have applicators as well, which would do a similar job, but it's just nice to have it on the bottle. It makes it really easy to apply. And like I said earlier, with those decals dry, we're going to give the wheel centers a Tamiya black panel line wash. Basically in and around the road wheel nuts. Now look at the real car, the wheel nuts are the same colour as the wheels, so I left them be. And as soon as you add a wash to it, it brings them alive a bit, adds a little bit of depth to them. Now the seats. So I opted to paint the seats Napa black. I thought I'm going to mask them and spray the centres in our textured black. Number one, I thought it looked cool. And number two, I want to showcase the paint. I've used it a few times now, and it is absolutely fantastic. Unlike some other texture paints out there on the market, ours does work very, very well. You don't have to hold it from 20 foot away or hose it on. It just builds up nicely to a nice textured finish, which I'll show a little bit later in this video. Some very tedious masking with a multitude of Azu micro tapes and Tamiya tapes until we get this result, and that's all burnished down, ready for paint. We're also going to do the backs of the seats as well, the lower half of the dashboard, and yeah, that's it. We are ready for some textured paint. So, bit of a boring job, but well worth doing. So, texture paint, these are new to the site. We've got a handful of paints on there, mostly black, grey, red, yellow, blue, and we will add colours at any request. And I do, at some point, plan to travel through the entire range of our interior colours and add them texture. But literally, I can add texture to any of our paints in our catalogue on our website. It costs £1 more for paint, just for the actual physical medium there that makes it textured, but it does give a very, very nice effect, which you'll see in a little bit when I show the pictures side by side. So we've done the floor mats in the texture black. We've done the bottom half of the dashboard, which is very conveniently separate as well, in the texture black. We're going to do the front seats centers in texture black as well. We've got a ton of carbon to go inside as well, and on the backs of the seats, and we've got some stripes to pop on there as well. So it's a very nice interior on this car, but oh boy, was it a lot of work. Yes, it was. Right, so here we go. I think this is where I show it now. So here's the textured seat on the left, and there's a non-textured on the right. And you can see the effect it gives. It really does add that nice kind of Alcantara textured look to the seat. So have a look, try it, see what you think, let me know. But I'm very impressed with it. It works absolutely fantastic. It really does. It's a nice simple touch. Just adds a nice bit of depth to the model. And the same on the centre of the upper part of the seat as well. So this basically simulates Alcantara, I suppose it could be. And it just takes away from the monotony of the black. Couldn't resist a quick cheeky test fit the wheels. So they look, and they're going to look absolutely amazing. They're going to look very, very cool. Decaling, now lots of tedious carbon decaling again. So again, pre-cut carbon for the seats. It fitted pretty good. It needed a little bit of trimming and tweaking here and there to get it to fit. So just take your time. Some decent UMP decal solutions and a heat gun proving absolutely invaluable. So a little bit of time and a bit of patience, and you'll get all this done lickety split. Just take your time, just keep burnishing it down and working it into the seat, and then get a cotton bud, wipe off any excess while pushing in any areas to make sure they're fully home. And there we go, there's our carbon seat backs, which look absolutely brilliant. And again, sadly, with the Alpha models, you can't really see much through the windows of them, especially on this model because there's no rear window, but it's a part and parcel of the build. And obviously you guys can see it in these videos as well. So it's well worth taking the time. These yellow stripes are a real nice addition to the seat. Looking really good. So get it in place, standard decal procedure. Get them in, get the moisture out, bit of heat, bit of decal solutions, job done. Just make sure they're fully pushed home. Like I say, a little bit of heat works absolute wonders on decals. It really does. These heat guns you get off Amazon for £15, and they are absolutely wonderful. They're great for speeding up drying paint, and for applying decals, absolutely valuable. So there's the texture paint on our floor mat there. You can see that. There's a nice little decal, a nice little recess on the floor mat itself. So with very careful application of the decal to get it all lined up properly. We can pop the decal in place. Get it all lined up, and then a decal solution in place. Let that set. And then we've got some carbon on the door cards as well. Like I say, there's a ton of carbon. There really is a lot. All over the door cards, all over the dashboard, steering wheel, everywhere. There's a lot. And I couldn't show it all in the video because the video would be about 20 parts long. So I just kind of picked a few parts out to show. But there's a lot. It is a really nice interior on this car. Some of the Alpha kits can be a little bit bland on the interiors, and that's probably because the real cars are. This one, it's a spanking interior. It looks absolutely fantastic. It really does. So well worth the money. And this was an original release a while back, which they've released recently. And if you can get this kit, I would highly recommend it. It's a beautiful kit to build with no real faults at all that I can think of. Everything went together with no problem. Oh, the rear lights are a bit of a pain. We'll talk about those in part 3. But other than that, kit went together absolutely fantastic. Really, really nice kit to build. And a beautiful looking car as well. So in the spray booth, everything's decaled. It's all dried. We're all painted. We've got some tested dual coats, but any matte clear coat of your choice will do. I'm just going to matte coat all the parts now. And that will take some of the shine off and make it look a bit more realistic as leather, because that is what we're going for here. As you can see, the Tesla's dual coat thinned with a rapid thinner from Mr. Hobby. Works wonders. It's just a real shame this stuff's discontinued and you can't really get it anymore, because it is the ultimate matte clear coat. Same on the seats as well. You'll literally see the shine disappear. As we go up the model parts spraying, you'll literally see that shine disappear. And it just adds a bit more reality to the part. Rather than look a bit too shiny and fake, it dulls it back and just makes it look that little bit better. While we're here as well, we've got some smaller parts, going to paint in gunmetal as well. So we've got some door handles, some dashboard trim, and whatnot. There's also a whole host of smaller parts to carbon fibre as well. So we got those done. Now with everything dry, it's the next day, we've got some Tamiya X22 clear coat. A little tip I picked up from one of my patrons. And we are going to brush coat this all over. And this will save us the hassle of having to mask to spray clear coat. And it's a nice little trick that works very, very well. We did another build before. I forget which one it was now. And it did work very well. So I have to do it again. So the trick of it is to load your brush up and get it on there nice and thick. And just spread it round until you get a nice, even, glossy clear coat. And again, similar ethos as the 2K. How it looks is how it's going to dry. So if it doesn't look glossy, it's not going to dry glossy. And it's not going to dry as perfect as 2K, but it'll give us a gloss effect that's more than adequate than what we're looking for. It really is. Because we're brushing it on, it's nice and simple to do. There's no masking required. Just some careful brushing, which, as I always say, quite nice to get back to your roots sometimes. A little bit of brush painting. We can work our way around, but that'll dry nice and glossy. And steering wheel, we've got some parts there as well that have all been carboned. Very, very busy steering wheel. There's lots of carbon and buttons on there. And there is specific points that are going to be gloss as well. So just going around. Real life references of the car are a great reference for these models because they are almost true to form. So we've got the heat event here. Tricky little part. So a little bit of Bob Smith's gold in the locating point. Pop it in and press it, and then we'll do the other 3 while we're there. There we go. They literally just sit on the surface. A little bit more glue required. The Bob Smith Super Gold, the black lady, is great stuff. It gives you a lot more time to work with parts without being instantly stuck. And there we go. There's applying the top to the bottom part of the dashboard. So we've got the Napa black leather on top and the textured black underneath. Gives us a nice contrast of colours. We've got the gloss carbon of the instrument binnacle as well. And again, using some Bob Smith's one of our precision applicators. This is the largest one we sell. We can get a couple of strategically placed shade joints. And then clip it together, hold it for a while, let it set. And then we get our steering wheel in place as well, which we've assembled with the paddle shifter and the steering column as well. Very carefully place that in its hole. And there we go, and put all that to one side to dry. So there's our dashboard all done, it's looking good. Got some nice decals on there, some nice trim, some nice carbon work on there as well. And the same with the door cards, we've brush painted the carbon on that. We've got the inserts in there as well. And then we can glue our seats together. Like I say, Alpha Model kits, this is one of the best ones I've ever done. One of the most enjoyable as well. I enjoyed this kit from start to finish. And it sits proudly on my bench. Not a lot of my models sit on my bench. There's about 7 of them. And this is definitely one of them. In fact, it's got pride of place right in front of me. Brake assembly. So we've got all our wheels assembled there as well. We've got our brakes just test fitting the calipers. And here's some pictures of everything. So there's our gunmetal wheels, which I think look absolutely beautiful. Our carbon ceramic brakes and yellow calipers, which again look great. We've got our interior parts, our door mats, door cards, center console, dashboard, and seats. And again, I think these have turned out really, really well. The seats, loving the textured part in the center as well. You can see the difference there between the Napa black and the textured black. Really does add a nice look to it with that yellow stripe through the center. The gloss black carbon on the back looks good as well. So it just shows you brush painting the X22 does work really, really well. Dashboard looking really good as well. Steering wheel looks absolutely beautiful. Really nice detail on this kit. And the lower half as well. You can really see the steering wheel now as well, and the paddle shifters behind. Very nice. And then the door cards again as well, looking good. So there we go, we're going to leave that there today. We're back for part 3 very soon. As always, leave a comment. Love reading all your comments down below. I do read every single one. Floor mats look amazing as well. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you want early access, you can become a patron down below. Become my supporters. You get early access to the videos, a bench update every week, 10% off. Loads of perks of being a patron. And a huge thanks to all my current patrons who allow me to do this. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.